with everything that I am. With everything that I am, with everything that I have, I am giving you all I got, marrying my good with my bad. Forgiven is what I am, forgiveness is what I give, with everything that I'm not, to be forgiven, to choose to live. What was left over, what was new, what was broken, what was bruised, what was scarred, what was scared, what was unloved, what was shared. With everything that I am, with everything that I'm not, I'm sending you with love to be loved and not forgot. Hello everyone, and welcome to my first ever virtual art showcasing, as well as my first ever art showcasing in general. The poem you just heard me recite was written by me and was inspired by the collection of pieces I will be showing you today. I would like to thank you in advance for your time and attention. I really appreciate it. Even though I will be sharing and explaining the origins, intentions, and meanings of each of these pieces in great detail, I would like for you to keep in mind that at the end of the day, my creations are always made to be open-ended. By saying that, I mean as an artist, I'm just sharing pieces of me with you, but I always want people to find, see, and or discover pieces of themselves within my creations. Bond with what speaks to you, be vulnerable, and get to know it, so maybe you'll desire to grow with it. With all of that being said, I proudly present to you the first piece of my With Everything That I Am collection. Cry. I completed this piece March 29th, 2023. It is 17 by 21 inches in total, acrylic on stretched canvas with a fuzzy yarn frame. As I briefly described on my Etsy shop, Cry displays a pretty heart who's going through a hard time. Pain, anger, sadness, and despair are all being released from a pure heart through tears. To explain in more detail, I'll start with the background. The curved black and red stripes represents the chaos the heart is experiencing in her life. The stripes are imperfect, clashing against each other. The heart feels anxious and out of control, which is why I chose to depict her in a grayscale color scheme. To me, it signifies her silence as she chooses to let fear win because she is convinced that there is nothing else she can do. Her lashes are dark and defined on purpose. Despite the relentless feeling of hopelessness, her outer beauty is all she feels she has left to hold on to. It is becoming her priority because that is all she allows others to see. As shown by her eye being left blank, she feels lost. She's becoming a shell of herself. As frightened as she is, she won't open up, she won't speak. Firmly, she believes that no one understands or cares. She cries to herself. I opted to mix the blue that I used for her tears with a thick, glossy medium so that they would dry slightly raised from the canvas. Because of this, her tears can be touched gently and felt, so in a sense, someone can feel her pain. Lastly, the black fuzzy yarn border represents the guard she has up. In this case, the color black stands for what is unknown by those she encounters. It is soft to the touch. This softness that can be felt is who she is on the surface to others, giving grace, comfort, and kindness to everyone around her but herself. Color. I originally completed this piece October 11th, 2022, but I came back to add its final details August 18th, 2023. It is a 12 by 16 inch acrylic on stretched canvas. Color is my depiction of what it feels like to believe you are stuck in a black and white world when in fact you are surrounded by light and liveliness. To go into further detail, I chose to carry over the grayscale color scheme that I used for the heart and cry for the eye in this piece to set the undertone for the overall mood, except for in this piece the grays are deeper. They are deeper because at this point, the being that this eye belongs to has reached what they believe to be the lowest point of their existence. Deep down, they know the only way out is up. The eye in this piece is unlike the eye of the heart and cry because it is no longer empty. They are no longer empty. The shine in the eye represents this being slowly recovering as they are attempting to look outward, searching for a new sense of self and appreciation for life in general. Because this being has been so busy looking outward, I chose to make their lashes very light because they are bare. The being has lost focus of their physical appearance in the best way possible. The background of this piece is bright and busy, colorful. There are sharp corners but hardly any clean lines. The colors touch but don't mix or blend together in a harmonious way. Each color is doing its own thing without being jarring to the eye. All of this is my depiction of what life is like in this piece. Things happen for better, for worse, for nothing at all. Embrace it, witness it, be involved, connect, feel, fail, succeed. Life isn't always good, but being alive is. Being alive is subjective. The being that this eye belongs to is in the process of figuring out what being alive means to them. Exhausted. I completed this piece July 14th, 2023. It is an 18 by 24 inch mixed media collage consisting of acrylic paint, hot glue, and magazine cutouts. Texture was added into the paint by mixing in baking soda. As I briefly stated on my Etsy shop, Exhausted depicts the face of someone who is holding on by a thread, hiding behind their pretty face as they water down the intensity of their struggle. They say they're just tired when in reality they're giving up. The abrasive texture of the background is representative of how they truly feel. To expand on that, I'll start with the focal point, the face. The grayscale color scheme that I had used in the focal points in the previous pieces is gone. I chose to use color when creating the face to show that this being is and has been making progress on their newfound journey of self-discovery and appreciation of life. The hair being an unnatural color, the asymmetric placements of accessories, as well as the appearance of blush and lip gloss are all meant to serve as this being's experimentation of what they like, what works for them, and what makes them feel like their true self. The cartoonish style of the spiral and star detailing in the eyes is to show just how out of it they are. Even though they're headed in the right direction, they have been pushing themselves too hard. Because of doing so, they're on edge. I'm tired is what they are saying to those who are noticing this being inching towards burning out. The lettering of the phrase is meant to look as if it has been poorly plastered on to draw attention away from the rough, crumbling background. This is to further show how this being is attempting to cover up how they truly feel. Messy, unappealing, falling apart. Running on E. I completed this piece August 18th, 2023. It is a 20-inch by 20-inch mixed media collage on stretched canvas consisting of acrylic paint, hot glue, magazine cutouts, lined loose leaf paper, and fuzzy yarn. Again, texture was added into the paint by mixing in baking soda. Running on E depicts a face of someone who has done the work, who is healing themselves, who is taking control of their life, realizing who and what they truly are. For this piece, I want to draw attention back to the title, Running on E. To my knowledge and based on my own life experience, this phrase is used to express negative feelings. From my understanding, to be running on E means to be running on empty, meaning to be burnt out and or pushed to your limits, tired and exhausted, but you're still managing to keep going. I titled this piece Running on E to challenge what I know to be the meaning of said phrase. The background is pages full of positive, uplifting adjectives that begin with the letter E. The title and the background combined represents this being's hard work, how they have overcome hardship and extensive periods of despair. I chose to handwrite these words to pay respects to parts of my spiritual beliefs. Writing is important. Write out your thoughts, your feelings, both good and bad. Words are so powerful. We use words not only to connect to each other, but to ourselves, to the universe, to our Creator. To complement the pages of positive adjectives, I placed the phrase I am in this being's eyes to reflect on how they now see who and what they are, as well as who and what they are continuously striving to be. The hairstyle, accessories, and overall appearance of this being is different from the one in Exhausted. The accessories and makeup, or in this case the lack thereof, serves the same purpose as in the previous piece, to display this being's experimentation of what they like, what works for them, what makes them feel like their true self. We all hurt the same, but it looks different for each of us. We all heal the same, but it looks different for each of us. By the same, I mean figuratively. By different, I mean literally. Lastly, the black fuzzy yarn that was used to outline the hair and face of the being is the same as what was used in the border of Cry. The softness still stands for the grace, comfort, and kindness that was being given to others, but I chose to work it into the making of this being to show that they have learned to be just as gentle with themselves. They now know that they are deserving of such love from both themselves and others. Everything in between. I completed this piece September 18th, 2023. It is a 13 by 37 inch mixed media collage consisting of acrylic paint, hot glue, magazine cutouts, and scraps of different textured yarn. Everything in between is my attempt at representing every emotion known to man. Other than the letters spelling out joy and sorrow, the feelings of love, serenity, pain, grief, and many others can be found and felt, but they can only be felt if you allow yourself to feel them. Like I explained in the introduction, personally, I choose to leave my creations open-ended. This, by far, is the most open-ended, undefined piece I have created as of this moment. Looking at this piece on my own, I can spot several different emotions. Where I find them, as well as the emotion themselves, change the more I look. Honestly, that alone is the best way I feel like I can currently depict the concepts of feelings and emotions. When and where do they begin? When and where do they end? They're all so different amongst themselves and appear so differently amongst us being the ones who feel and experience them. We change, we break, we heal from all of them so differently, yet for the most part it is the one thing we all have in common. But what do all emotions have in common? The potential to bring us to tears. That is why at the top of this piece there is a face of a person staring blankly at you with tears coming from their eyes. What emotions are they feeling? What emotions are you feeling? Bringing your attention to the title, Everything in Between, I capitalized the E in everything and the B in between because in this case they are proper nouns. Everything is everyone. In some way, shape, or form we all feel. I am everything. You are everything. Both together and separately, we are everything. Between is where we are physically, where we are mentally, where we are spiritually. Where we are is always changing. I am always in between. You are always in between. We are always in between. In between emotions, in between thoughts, in between phases, transitions, chapters. Everything is in between. I titled this collection of artwork with Everything That I Am because what I had left is all I had to work with when creating each of these pieces. For those of you who don't know, I just recently reopened my shop for the third time on August 21st of this year, the anniversary of me taking my art seriously. Before that, I was on a long but very much needed hiatus from selling my work. I won't spend too much time on the details, but I mention all that because during this hiatus, I began to neglect myself creatively. I didn't buy any art supplies for a while, which doesn't seem like a big deal, but if you know me, then you know just how unlike myself that is. I had given up. I didn't see a point, and unfortunately, I was going through a very hard time financially, of which I'm still in the midst of recovering from emotionally. Of course, that didn't stop me from being creative, it's just that I was limited to using whatever it is I had left over from before. Every single piece of art you saw today is made up of things I've collected, things that were given or found, things that were left over from the past 3 years of me chasing this dream. And even then, some things that were used are so dated, it was even surprising to me to see that I still had them. These pieces were created during what I can truly say has been the hardest year and a half of my life. I've gone through so much. I've learned, grown, gained, and lost so much in what seems like minutes when I think about it. That chapter is only just now coming to an end. So to each and every one of you who are watching this, thank you. Thank you so much for your time and attention, for your patience, for your support. Thank you. I never thought I would ever speak on my art or even share a poem of mine in this way on any sort of platform. I pushed myself to overcome my shyness because I am honestly way too proud of these pieces to not show them off. I could never keep quiet about them simply because of what they mean to me. And now that I've gotten my chance to share that, I can't wait for each of these creations to find their new homes. I hope they make someone feel heard, understood, represented, and seen. I hope that they can serve as a reminder to someone that they are not alone and that they will get through it, whatever it is. Thank you all again for attending my first ever virtual art show and my first ever art show in general. With all that being said, of course I got to end this with my usual outro. I love you guys and I want you to love yourselves and drink water. Bye.